Hello guys, in this video I want to answer this question. Is it bad to have a foreign accent when you're speaking another language? To give you a short answer, my opinion, no, I don't think so. Why not? First of all, I think pronunciation and accent are two completely different things. You're talking about pronunciation if you're talking about the level, about how good you're pronouncing the words and how well people can understand you. So you should work on your pronunciation, your grammar and your vocabulary. But I think accent doesn't have to do anything with your level. I mean, your language learning level. I think an accent is just an accent. I mean, for example, if you, let's take English, alright? Australian people, American people and people from England, they're all speaking English with a different accent. But none of them is speaking English better, so that's a little bit what I mean. So if you have your own accent, I mean, if you're Spanish or whatever, Portuguese, and you have a little bit of your own accent, I think that's something of your identity. I mean, why could people from Australia and America have their own accent and you not? Why not? It's making you unique. So you just be happy with it, and I think people will also think it's cute. I mean, I think it's kind of special. It's always nice to hear where someone is from, and you can also, it's also nice when you guess where someone is from, that you can have a conversation about it. Besides that, I also think that like when you're looking at the levels at the internet, C1 and C2, okay? I didn't read something about, you know, that you need to sound like a native speaker when you're learning this language. I didn't read it. I mean, they're always talking about you know, how that you can clearly express yourself, you know, and that you can use complicated expressions, that you can talk about any topic. So that's really important for a fluent level. And some people might think that when you want to be fluent, you have to sound like a native speaker. And I think that's not true. Like, for example, okay, you have guys who can imitate accents really well, like it's a talent. So like if they hear an accent, they can already imitate it after maybe a couple of minutes. So they know the accent, and just with a couple of sentences they can sound like they're a native speaker. So maybe when you speak, for example, with a guy who can imitate an accent really well, who just know, you know, who just has a B1 knowledge of the language, yeah. And you also talk with a guy who has a C1 knowledge of the language, and he has a little bit of an accent, and you have a 1 minute conversation with both of them, okay? Then probably you will think that the guy with the B1 level, with the native accent, is speaking the language better, you know? But, you know, like that's a little bit my whole point. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with your level. So I think it's not important to imitate accent. I think it's better to work on your pronunciation, your vocabulary, and that you're practicing the language, you know, that you're really speaking with people and that you're interacting, okay? So that's my story about it. And I also want to say that, that when you're living for maybe 10 years in another country, then maybe you will imitate the accent automatically. If you're doing it automatically, then I think it's better than when you're forcing yourself. You don't need to force yourself to have an American accent, or to have an Australian accent, or to have a really Brazilian Portuguese accent. You don't need it. So that's my advice in this video, and I hope this is encouraging people who have a little bit an accent, or maybe you will hear sometimes like, hey, you speak the language very well, but you have a bit of an accent. Don't be offended. It's not about your level.